Chapter 5. When bad stars cross and worlds collide. I most certainly will not surrender, said Wish. Look, she and Tsar. Tsar's got the sword and his sword and she tricked her a bit. I most certainly will not surrender, said Wish. You cheated. Wizards don't play by warrior rules, said Tsar. Cheat of a wizard, wickedness of a warrior, curse maker, forest poisoner, child eater. Magic destroyer, maybe you'll be ground by the teeth of the great grey ogre into pieces that are smaller than the eyes of light on a fly, cursed Tsar. Both Tsar and Wish were cold and tired, and had just had a terrible fright. Fear had turned to anger, as it so often will, and they settled easily into shouting the kinds of insults and nasty language at each other that have been exchanged between wizards and warriors since the warriors first invaded from across the seas and the two sets of humans met in battle in the Wildwood centuries before. Tsar's face was flush with temper, and he held the sword over Wish's head in such a purposeful fashion that Bodkin shouted out, "Don't kill her! She's the daughter of Queen Sycorax. If you kill her, Queen Sycorax's revenge will be terrible." Tsar stared at Wish in astonishment. A daughter of Queen Sycorax? But you can't be. Queen Sycorax was a legend in the forest, known for her cruelty and her height and her pitiless warrior strength. How could this tiny matchstick of a girl be scary Queen Sycorax's daughter? A daughter of Queen Sycorax. Kill her, hissed the sprites, creeping through the air towards Wish, their bows loaded with the most deadly of their curses. One word from Tsar, and they would let them fly. Tsar had always boasted that if he ever met an enemy, he would kill them instantly. But boasts are one thing. And actually killing a real live girl your own age who is right in front of you and clearly terrified, though trying not to be, with a sword you have just cheated her out of, well, that's quite another. And Tsar found he could not do it. Oh, good. My ancestors would have done it, thought Tsar guiltily. Luther would not have hesitated. But Tsar paused uncertainly. As good in Tsar. And then, to his further surprise, he found himself being attacked by what appeared to be a spoon, making ferocious lunges and rapping him painfully on the head. "I'll call off my spoon if you call off your bear," panted Wish. To the disappointment of the sprites, who were hissing like hornets, Tsar lowered the enchanted sword and gave a sign to his bear, who let Bodkin go with a grunt. The enchanted spoon stopped rapping Tsar on the head, gave him a small, apologetic bow, as the spoon is very polite, and hopped back down to Wish. The wizards and the warriors stared at each other in amazement, still hostile and suspicious, but also curious. "I am Wish, daughter of Sycorax, queen of the warriors," said Wish, "and this is my assistant bodyguard, Bodkin. Who are you?" "I am Tsar the Magnificent, son of Inkanze." "I am Tsar the Magnificent, son of Inkanze, king of wizards," said Tsar. "These are my companions, my wolves, my bear, my snowcat, King Cat, Night Eye, Forest Heart, my bird, Caliban, my giant, Crusher, and my sprites, Ariel, Mustard Thought, Tiffenstorm, Hinky Punk, Time Loss." The sprites weaved viciously around the warrior's head, sparking and burning menacingly. Don't forget us," squeaked Squeeze Juice. "Oh yes, these are sprites too, but they're too young, so we call them hairy fairies," said Tsar. "Bumbleboozle and the baby and Squeeze Juice," whispered Squeeze Juice into Bodkin's ear, suddenly and alarmingly. The long trail of his antennae sent goosebumps all over Bodkin's scalp, so Bodkin flapped him desperately away. Wish gave a sigh of jealousy as she looked at Tsar's companions, particularly the sprites. She reached out a hand to the one Tsar called Squeeze Juice, which was a funny-looking little thing, furry as a bumblebee. I'm afraid that Squeeze Juice bit her. "Wow," said Wish, sucking her fingers. "Sprites are tougher than I expected. They're kind of violent, and they don't seem to like me very much." "Of course they don't like you, you stupid warrior," says Tsar. "Your wicked mother captures our giants and our dwarves and sprites in her terrible traps, and then we never see them again." "But my mother doesn't kill the sprites she captures," said Wish. "She just has this stone that takes away magic that she keeps in her dungeons, and all she does is mercifully remove their magic by placing them upon the stone." Wish's voice trailed off as she remembered how much she didn't want the spoon to have his magic removed. "In a completely painless process," Bodkin prompted her. "And you think that does not kill them?" hissed Tiffenstorm. "Why not just remove their hearts entirely? A sprite without its magic is a sprite who has lost its soul." "Oh dear," Wish did not know what to think now. This all sounded so sad. But the magic is bad for them, she said falteringly, and they use it to curse us. And giants eat people. That's why my mother traps them. She told me so. Zara and the sprites laughed at such ignorance. Giants don't eat people. Wish looked up at the giant and wondered. I love that picture. Look, she's at the bottom of the... There's her spoon looking up to bottom of the tree, looking up at the giant. And then, to Bodkin's horror, the giant leaned down and very gently picked Wish up in his giant fingers. There he is, he's picking her up. And lifted her into the air. It should have been frightening, but the giant moved so slowly, and his fingers around her were so comfortingly huge that all Wish felt as she rose up into the treetops was excitement at the new experience. Look around you and look down, said the giant. Look around you, sorry, I should do it giant like. Look around you and look down, said the giant. What seems important from up here? Wish looked over the edge of the giant's fingers and caught her breath with the surprise of seeing the world from an entirely different viewpoint. The forest canopy stretched out for miles in every direction, and the night sky above was crammed with stars that went on forever. Down below, the humans were as small as sprites, and the sprites were just glowing flecks of dust. One of the humans, Bodkin, was shouting something. Put her down! But it was such a long way away. Wish had trouble hearing him, and his anxiety seemed, from this vantage, mistaken and missing the point. The forest is important, said Wish, and the stars. Correct, smiled the giant. Look into my eyes, said the giant. Do I look like the kind of person who would eat human beings? Sorry, I keep on forgetting the giant voice. Look into my eyes, said the giant. Do I look like the kind of person who would eat human beings? The giant's voice was covered with a network of wrinkles and laughed lines like the wandering paths on an old map, and his eyes were kind and wise. No, said Wish, you don't. Correct again, said the giant. Unlike ogres, giants are vegetarian. Crusher grinned and pulled up a small tree. He gave a huge smile at Wish as the entire tree disappeared into his enormous mouth, crunching whole branches as if they were mere twigs. Better for the digestion, he said dreamily. The first seeds of doubt about all that she had been told about magic creatures were sown in Wish's mind when she looked up at the giant's kind face, laughing so loudly at his own bad joke. Crusher doesn't seem like a very good name for you, said Wish. It's short for Problem Crusher, said Crusher. Are you all right? Cried Bodkin anxiously. Of course I'm all right, said Wish as the giant gently put her back down. That giant really is not dangerous. Was it possible that warriors had been mistaken in their view of magic all along? Could there be another way of looking at things other than the warrior way? Wish's world was spinning upside down, and that is always a difficult moment. I'll read the rest of the chapter tomorrow. I love it when that giant carries her up in